Hello, and welcome to today's session. I will be talking about how to design a conceptual framework, a guide for researcher design. So, as a way of introduction, we will define conceptual framework. Conceptual framework illustrates the expected relationship between variables. What is the purpose of a conceptual framework? It guides research process and draws coherent conclusions. What are the components of a conceptual framework? The components of a conceptual framework include variables like independent variables, dependent variables, moderators, mediators, and control variables. Now, the first step in a conceptual framework is to identify variables. Let's take the topic effect of selected internal factors on the financial performance of institutional-based cooperative thrift and loan societies in Southeast Nigeria. Now, the variables will be, the independent variables will be the internal factors. For example, we selected internal capital, technology, managerial abilities, employer abilities as independent variables. The dependent variables include financial performance of institutional-based cooperative thrift and loan societies in Southeast Nigeria. Note, there can be moderators, mediators, and control variables. I've mentioned that before. Now, the step two is to conduct a literature review. And in your literature review, you identify the relationship between these variables that we've just highlighted. Note the relationship they have and note the research gaps therein. Step three, you now try to visualize the cause and effect relationship. That is by creating or designing a diagram showing how this relationship work. For example, you see the diagram by your upper right hand corner showing the relationship. And then the fourth step is to write a narrative to explain the conceptual framework. You describe the relationship between the variables based on the literature review that has been done. And then you explain how these variables interact to form a research framework and do a careful consideration of the variables and their relationship. Okay, thank you for listening.